Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 8.
I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. I got some housekeeping to do real quick, Blair.
Okay.
Starting with number one, we are going to do couples therapy that comes on Showtime. I think it comes on Showtime or Paramount, whichever one it is. We did it last year. We're going to do it this year because that's one of my favorite shows.
Love it. Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're going to do that. Make sure y'all tap into that. Also, I have a little secret, right? The secret is this. And this is a secret to Blair as well, right? When I wanted to review Atlanta, I don't know if Blair wanted to review it. I think she was going to watch it, but I don't think she wanted to review it. Because she had, low hopes for the season, right? Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, you are enjoying the season,
yes,
right? But I had some type of secret intention of you wanting to watch the show. And I think I'm failing at it.
Okay.
The secret intention was, I want Blair to watch this season where Porsha is the anchor because I think I could get her to like Porsha in this season. Mm-hmm. With 8 episodes in, I don't think we getting there.
I don't have to like her. It's okay. It doesn't matter.
I want a change of heart. By the end of the season, I'm hoping Porsha will cause my wife to have a change of heart. But this episode... we took 1 step forward and 10 steps back this episode with Porsha. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So Britt FaceTimes her husband and she fills him in on Angela inviting Drew to the trip. And she is turned off from Angela ever since the brunch.
What happened at the brunch, Britt, that caused you to be turned off from her? Because last time I checked, you bit her head off.
Correct.
And she responded to getting her head bit off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But, to each his own. But, we know Britt like to come up with stories and basically absolve herself of any accountability of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Shamea is on FaceTime with her husband who has their daughter at a doctor's appointment. And Shamea's, pretty upset that she can't be there with them. But he's saying we got it covered. Turned out she had an ear infection. They're going to get her on some antibiotics. And Shamea has always felt supported in her marriage and with the children. So she really feels like her husband deserves to have a son. And that's something she wants to be able to give him.
Ooh, like I said, I think it's commendable.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk down on that. But I need to see a conversation. When I say need to see a conversation, I'm just talking as if this was like a real thing. We got to talk about that. Like, I don't want you to feel like you have to do something if you never heard me say it out my mouth, right? Don't assume that every guy wants a son. Now, here's the thing about it. He probably does want a son, right?
Yeah,
but,
and culturally, he
probably wants a son. So I'm not trying to negate that. But listen, let's have a conversation about how you're doing. Let's see how you're getting along and how, let's get our baby out of the woods. I don't know which child this is, but listen here, an ear infection, you're like, okay, good. That's normal. I should just get antibiotics and you good. So, like, I find it very commendable, but at the same time, I hope Shamea is in a good peace of mind to be able to do that, as well as her body, what I mean? Or even putting that weight back on what is that called? The one that she had before?
A surrogate?
A surrogate, because when she had the surrogate before, she felt some type of guilt or some type of shame and things like that when the surrogate got sick and things like that. So I just want Shamea to be well. I don't want you to feel like you have to give a son but then you take the basically the hit of it, you know what I mean? So I just want everybody to be good in all of this.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they can take time to do it. They're still focusing on Shiloh, their youngest daughter's health needs and trying to get her out of the woods for a lot of different things. So I'm hoping that they can take the time that they need before they start expanding their family. So So Cynthia and Angela have a talk.
Oh boy.
Angela is loyal to her friends, and so she's going to be loyal to Drew. Drew is actually on her way today. Let Angela tell it. We thought she was on her way the other day. But Cynthia says, Drew did kind of put herself in this position because baby daddies just hit different. So Drew ends up arriving and Cynthia is the one who welcomes her. Drew is trying to extend an olive branch to Porsha by being there.
Yeah.
They've been friends for years and she doesn't see why they can't have a conversation and squash the issue. Drew sees her room is bunk beds.
Oh, yeah.
And she wasn't quite feeling that. But Angela encourages Drew to talk to Porsha because, number one, get the heat off me because I went to war for you last night.
Okay, pretty much. Look, man, Cynthia said, sometimes you put yourself in a position to be treated this way and things of that nature, to paraphrase. Cynthia, what position you put yourself in? Because this episode, you was flip-flopping to me. This episode, I don't even know what side you on, if there is a side, because you're not playing mediator. At one moment, you are playing mediator, and then one side, you're completely on Britt's side, and then the other side, you're 100% on Porsha's side, and then it just seems like wherever the wind will blow you, that's what side you're going to be on. When it comes to Drew, I just need everybody to understand this. This storyline is stupid. This is why my wife can't like Porsha, right? Because Porsha is trying to hang on by the little hair on the chinny chin chin. Basically, I got a problem with Drew, not because she's filming with my ex-husband, not because she's filming with my current husband, not because she's filming with someone that I'm currently dating. She's filming with Dennis, right? And basically, I own Dennis because guess what? I don't have a storyline. I can't film in my house and things of that nature, so I got to use Dennis. I don't even remember if Drew and Dennis was even in this. I think they only had one scene together in the show.
Yeah.
With them in the studio, so it's not like they are filming and that's all you see is Drew and Dennis. I don't understand it.
And that's why when I was watching some of Porsha's stuff on her YouTube channel, when she was talking about how she believes that Drew, Dennis, possibly Ralph were all in cahoots to get her upset to create this as a storyline. And I'm just like, Porsha, you're the one who's at like really putting a spotlight on the situation. If you would just have the conversation with Drew, then this would no longer be a conversation. You keep icing this girl out when she keeps trying to talk to you and try to squash it. So
Listen,
but the thing is, I agree. I mean, this is her storyline for the season. I'm hoping that they can get over this because it's running a little bit stale to me at this point.
Yeah, we're 8 episodes in on this.
Yeah, so let's move on.
Yeah, please.
Now, so everyone's getting ready to go. Porsha doesn't care which group Drew goes with. They've got whiskey tasting and then a coyote ugly thing that they're going to go to. But she doesn't want Angela gaslighting her today.
I got a question. It's even coming up, dude. Like, you think Porsha's really even mad?
I don't even think she's mad.
And that's the thing about it. Like, that's why I'm like, if you was genuinely mad and I felt like you really felt a way, besides you telling yourself you have to feel a way, I think, not that I would agree with your storyline, but I could be like, well, she really feels some type of way.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is, as we go get through this episode, listen, Angela told you, yes, Angela invited Drew and things of that nature. Yes, right? If you really had a problem, you should have said no.
Yeah.
You should have said no. You're not going to have a room here, Drew. I didn't invite you and things of that nature, but you say, oh no, it's straight. So it can't be that much of a problem for you. I think even you being mad is for the cameras.
And even when the confessional, when they were asking her, like, are you really that upset? And she was like, no, like, it's really not a big deal. So it feels like you're dragging it.
Yeah.
So they all get in the van. Shamea starts crying. So we learned that, or we're reminded that she was married for a year to a pretty wealthy guy. She spoke out about the domestic violence that she experienced in that relationship. Yeah. And former friend lady sent her a text message apologizing. Back at the time that she was getting a divorce, that person didn't believe Shamea, was pretty mean about it, didn't understand why Shamea was divorcing the person. But at this point, she's feeling like seen and believed. So she starts crying because of that.
Yeah.
We learned that it was apparently in front of a lot of people, in front of a hotel, where he hit her and popped her out of her red bottoms.
Wow.
Cynthia's mom also shared her story of abuse, and Cynthia's heart goes out to Shamea because she's able to keep a smile on her face with all that she's been through. So Porsha, Shamea, and Kelli, they go to Coyote Ugly. They take the shots with no hands. They're on top of the bar, having a great time. They learned how to bartend. And the rest of the ladies are at the whiskey tasting.
Nice.
And they try the whiskey straight out the barrel. Drew gets this idea to bring a bottle of whiskey with their pictures on it for Porsha as an olive branch. And my thing is, Drew, how many olive branches are you bringing to Porsha? Are you giving this lady a tree?
Yeah. Basically a tree. Basically all the branches of the tree.
Yes.
I want to talk about the abuse. For one, it's sad that Shamea had to go through that.
Absolutely.
It's sad that anybody had to go through that. Even it is commendable that even like who mother was
Cynthia's mother.
It was Cynthia's mother sharing her story. This was at a Kenya's event of years ago, like early, like I think 2018.
PSA.
Yeah, like 2018, something like that. So I do find it interesting that they did use a Kenya scene, even though Kenya is not in the show or on the show, or y'all took her off the show. But y'all still using Kenya's scene, even though it's for a good cause. I did find that very interesting. Number two, I really don't understand, especially if you're not close to the one that is abusing, or why you wouldn't believe the person that's getting abused. Like, why would you take that stance? If why would that person who apologized to Shamea, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you, right? Why did that person even take the stance of I don't believe you?
I mean, to me, because if you're friends with both people and you don't want to believe that person is what the other person says they are, then you're going to choose to believe pretty much whatever serves you in that relationship. Yeah, which is wrong.
Which is stupid, though. Yeah. It's like, why, like, and I'm not telling anybody to hedge their bets, right? But if there was a moment for your name to be Bennett, I'm not in it. It will be whenever somebody say he hit me or she hit me, and the other person say, yes, I did, or no, I didn't. You get what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I don't really understand why somebody would really take a stance like that. And I really felt, not sorry, but I really felt for those women that they had to go through that, because that can really alter how you feel about relationships, about how you feel safe around men in general,
about yourself,
even if it's platonically, about yourself. So, like, respect to them for even being honest about it. And I can see why Shamea was emotional about it, because it's something that, unfortunately, especially as I got older, it's something that a lot of women have to live with, which I did not know, which I wasn't keen on it, because I don't put my hands on women. And as far as I know, I have friends who don't put their hands on women. So that's not my reality. But as I start to hear these stories and things, I'm like, man, men really be wild. You get what I'm saying? But no, it was a touching scene.
Yeah. So later that evening, they're going to have a cowboy dinner.
Yeah.
Porsha says that everyone at the dinner knows, Drew and her are not cool. And apparently she's talking about the situation the night before, about her other friends that were there. And they just didn't understand why Drew wasn't there, since they all know Drew. Yeah. And so they were asking her why she wasn't there. Porsha is more so confused with Angela, because why would she set Drew up? Shamea says that Angela said that Drew was talking mess about her to Kelli. We actually get the screen grab of the recording where Angela actually said Kelli was throwing shade to her last night at Drew, and Angela was concerned about Drew's reaction to Kelly's throwing shade.
Okay.
So Porsha felt like Angela provoked everyone to have a negative vibe about Drew before she even arrived.
Stop right there. Porsha, what is it now?
She's reaching.
I'm like, at first,
I'm surprised her shoulder doesn't dislocate.
So now we start off with you being against Drew. We talking about in the first couple episodes to where you said all these adjectives about Drew, right? Then we get to the party, or we get to your birthday bash, or whatever you want to call it, and now it was about Angela. You invited my ops, basically. Like, I'm not cool with Drew, but sure, she could come. And now it's like you're like defending Drew in some weird way of like, actually, Angela set you up, Drew, to basically be disliked and for us to have a negative reaction because Angela set you up. I'm just like, Porsha, what is it? Pick a side, stay there. And because now this is actually the part that made me go, I don't even think Porsha even really mad at Drew.
Yeah.
I think Porsha just basically trying to make Drew uncomfortable and just trying to get her to leave on her own, where really at the end of the day, I don't even think Porsha really is even that mad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think she's just looking for reasons to continue talking about the issue, maybe move the issue to Angela, so she doesn't have to talk about what's going on in her life. And like some people said, maybe she can't. Maybe with it being a active case of her trying to get divorced, there's certain things she can't talk about. But personally, and I could be wrong, I think she could talk about more than she is talking about. So
yeah, but Porsha's running a dangerous game here, though, and the dangerous game she's running is that, even with her reaching and changing the story and basically dislocating her shoulder as you describe her, eventually people's not going to even want to care about the real truth about your divorce. People are just going to say, you know what, just get out of our face. Yeah. Like basically, we don't even care. Like, it is what it is. And I think Porsha is running that dangerous game to where I think people are starting to get tired of seeing her because she's dragging it so much. And
she's not talking about things we actually want to hear about.
Yeah. And even given the moment to talk about it, and granted, you don't have to go into detail about your divorce or even your marriage or things like that, but it's the obvious ways that you are basically trying to escape accountability in anything that's making people go, you know what? We don't even care about the divorce or even you in that matter, So, yeah, she's running a dangerous game, in my opinion.
And at the whiskey tasting, Angela admits that she was wrong for not asking Porsha first if Drew could come on the trip. But in the confessional, Angela says that she wouldn't do it differently because she really doesn't give a F. And I'm just like, great job, Angela. You're doing a wonderful job. I'm loving her.
What did I say? I said give Angela what? First chair.
Absolutely.
First chair for sure. Angela's the only one that came to work this season. Yeah.
And Britt says, well, your problem is you play the victim.
Who?
You say you're, catching all the heat and acting oblivious to what's going on. And she brings up how she felt like nobody had empathy for her at the brunch. And Angela says, well, it was the way that you came in. You were coming in entitled. And Drew tells her us being there was showing you support.
Yeah.
And Cynthia's like, well, you can't tell her how to walk into a situation unless you've been in her situation. Britt starts crying, saying that you shouldn't have been pointing fingers at me about what I did. Drew's point is that we were missing Kenya while we were also trying to be there to support you.
Yeah.
Angela apologizes that Britt didn't feel supported.
And that's the thing about it. Angela this is what you call moving a scene.
And that's maturity as well.
Yeah, Angela's not trying to be stuck in this whole, like, oh, you mad at me about this brunch. Because first of all, girl, I know you're lying. Like, so I'm not even going to debate with you about the truth of what really happened, right? You feel like, let's go by what she said. She didn't feel supported at the brunch. This brunch was for you. Let's start there. This wasn't a brunch to where we just get together for no reason. This was basically a brunch in support of you, right? Number two, as we talk about it, as we saw the scene, she said, I lost her license. Or Shamea basically said, yeah, she lost her license and things like that. That's when Angela said, what? How? Right? On what cause? And then Britt was the one that yelled back and said, are you stupid? Are you effing stupid and things like that? Like, why you have that energy towards Angela? So really, the energy that you gave Angela was just giving back the energy you gave her. She was returning to sender what happened. And Cynthia, this is what I'm talking about with the whole blowing in the wind thing, right? She basically said, look, unless you've been in her shoes to where someone have a video or basically a picture of you on a poster board of you doing this and doing that, then you can't speak for her. Cynthia, you wasn't even at the brunch.
Yeah.
So now it seems like you on Drew's side now. Now I can kind of understand why Kenya haven't returned your calls or you and Kenya not cool today and things of that nature. Because in that moment, Cynthia, your words wasn't needed because you wasn't there. So that's why I'm like, I can see why people kind of feel iffy about Cynthia, why they like, that's why she's the friend of the show, because we can't take too much of Cynthia because she going this way, that way, this way, that way.
Well, I feel like what is also the mark of a really good housewife is knowing when to get over a situation and when to dig in and try to have more conversation about a situation. Like you said, this whole conversation about the brunch, we ain't gonna keep talking about this. No. This is not something for us to have 2-3 episodes going back and forth about. It's boring. You know?
Yeah. So. And the brunch happened, what, 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
So that's what you're like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay? Like whatever I got to do for us to move on. Because I really got intentions to talk about something else. I don't want to talk about this little brunch. You get what I'm saying? It is what it is.
So everyone gets back on the bus. Britt looks exhausted. Cynthia was apparently taking the whiskey down.
Yeah.
They get ready for their evening, for their dinner, and they have cowboy bartenders waiting for them. Everyone is pretty much waiting around for the dinner to start, and Britt mentioned that she needed a whip. And I get that she was saying it for her outfit, but can we not? Like, you were literally just threatening somebody with a pistol and a whip, and you keep talking about whips. Like, maybe this is how she talks and what she talks about, but that's why I think Britt's going to be a one and done, because it's not a good fit.
Here's the thing. With Britt,
it's too aggressive.
Here's the thing about you not a black woman calling another black woman aggressive. I think with Britt, you have to watch her on mute with Britt whenever she talk, because she's obviously looking for sound bites. Like, she talk in sound bites. She wants to be on the Bravo page or basically on whatever TikTok or whatever Instagram clip as a clip. You know what I mean? So that's why she said, "Oh, I need a whip." It's like, I'm not even going to acknowledge you, because as far as we know, I think the only person you got in your corner right now is Porsha. And I'm just letting you know this right now. I don't think that's a good person. Like, right now,
if Portia's in your corner, nobody's in your corner.
Yeah, basically, because Porsha not in your corner as she's standing in your corner and things like that. Yep.
Yeah. So Portia's energy is off. She didn't come down really dressed up the way that everybody else was. Apparently, she got a call that Dennis was filming with Drew. They had conversations about that specifically, and she's disappointed he chose opportunity over family. She was saying this is what they discussed as far as their co-parenting relationship.
Yeah, this is where I lost Blair. Right, I thought I was close. I'm saying like, you know what? I say Porsha funny, right? She like, yeah, Porsha is.
She
funny.
is very funny.
You know, like Porsha, she is a good time, right? Yeah,
all of
like,
that.
Yeah,
all
you
of
know
that.
what? I say, you know what? Porsha is a great anchor of the show. That's where Blair just let go of the wheel and be like, no, she's not, right? And this is one of the reasons why, right? Everybody's there laughing. Everybody's there kikiing, right? Even Britt over there looking for her sound bites and things like that. Everybody's having a good time. Porsha comes down and ruins the whole mood, right? As the anchor of the show. And that's what people be like, Porsha's energy is off. And now I'm like, please tell me something. Please give me a real reason why your energy is off and don't let it be about Drew. And then this is the same thing. It's almost like Groundhog Day with Porsha, to where she said, I just found out that Dennis was filming with Drew. Okay, right? And then that was our co-parenting agreement. No, listen here. You already know Dennis lies to you. You already know Dennis cheated on you. You already know Dennis do all those things, right? And this whole idea that you're trying to build your storyline around this, I can see why people are tired of it 8 episodes in, because they already mentioned it 2 times or 3 times in one episode, and I'm like, please get me out of this basically Groundhog Day repeat after repeat after repeat. And Drew is not even that important for real for you to be that mad at. So that's why I'm like, it's weird.
But I guess my question is, when Porsha brings up examples and when she's talking to people, she brings up, what if your ex-husband or something like that was filming with another housewife? Is an ex-husband and a baby dad on the same wavelength as far as what you feel like you would be comfortable doing? I mean, I understand that she was saying also that, you know, we're family. He's supposed to choose family. Is your baby mom your family? Or is it just your child who's your family? These are questions that I have, because I'm really thinking to myself, if Dennis were to marry somebody and, you know, I'm sure that there is some type of tether, or there is a tether, their child, that tethers them together, but his wife would be his priority. His loyalties would never lie with Porsha. No. You know? So I'm just curious as to what hold that Porsha thinks that she has in this relationship over him, other than if she's trying to use the relationship with their child against him in some type of way, because this man is not technically your family to me. Is baby daddy, because that's who Dennis is. Yeah. Right? Even though Dennis always been around, he's baby daddy. Mm-hmm. Is baby daddy family in this instance? No. Mm-hmm. Right? First of all, don't tell me this was our co-parent agreement, because only one who can make co-parent agreements is when we have a lawyer present. Right, like that, like this is just what you want, but this is not actual the thing that have to do with the child or anything like that. So don't say this is our co-parent agreement. This is not a situation to where the child is even involved. Right. So like that's why I don't even understand, to your point, to where like, why are you bringing up like family and things like that? This have nothing to do with our child. Unlike you being mad a couple episodes ago, or maybe even last episode, I think it was a couple episodes ago, that Simon didn't reach out to a child that's not even his, right, to your daughter, when the father is active in the child's life. So that, it just seems like she's just trying to blame everybody for her current situation, right? And her situation is this: I can't film in my house. I can't talk about my divorce and things of that nature. I hid it. I hid my divorce, or whatever it is. I took that lady's man. I don't want to talk about that either. So Dennis, you are my saving grace. When I had my own show and things like that, and that show was failing, and like that show was basically going on, Dennis was basically the one that carried the show. So Dennis, the fact that you filming with Drew, how can Drew have a scene and then I have a scene? And I'm like, both of y'all haven't been filming with Dennis so far in episode 8. So I'm like, what scenes or what storyline are you really relying? Okay, let's take Drew out of it completely. Let's take Drew completely out of it, right? Let's say Drew's not on the show. What storyline are you gonna have with Dennis? What are the reasons that Dennis is needed for your storyline? And so far, you haven't filmed anything. We haven't even seen you with your daughter and Dennis together outside of that one episode. So I'm like, what do you need Dennis for? Yeah. I don't know. So the ladies get a dance lesson with the cowboys. Yeah. They all sit down for dinner, and they're asking Porsha what's wrong. She says she's tired. Angela and Britt fill the ladies in on how they made up at the whiskey tasting. Angela apparently says that apparently I act the victim, and she really doesn't understand how she does. And then Britt is just like, so then you didn't really understand what I said. What you said didn't make sense, Britt. And I'm not going back and forth with you. No, I said sorry. sorry. And Angela asked, but you said I was gaslighting you. So what did I say that was gaslighting? And Porsha's like, she doesn't remember. That's because Porsha doesn't have anything to say. Yeah, she don't. Yeah. So Angela apologizes to Porsha but also says, why am I the only one who's being held accountable? Kelli asks why Porsha took that woman's man, and the world wants to know. So, Porsha, are you going to answer the question? And Porsha tells Angela she can kiss her behind, and Angela tells her she will not be doing that. Drew tells Porsha happy birthday and asks if she's okay with her being there, and Porsha tells her she's straight. Drew felt the answer was nice nasty, so she gets up, says she's going to leave. If we have an issue, let's address it now. Porsha feels like Angela's doing a lot. Drew's being dramatic, and Porsha didn't do anything to make Drew uncomfortable. She's already dealing with a lot with the men in her life, so she really doesn't have much to give these women.
First of all, everything you're dealing with is things that you put on yourself. Like you jumped into this new marriage and things like that and quit your jobs and basically said, see y'all later, suckers, and then we see you back in a couple years and things like that, like, can y'all hire me again? So I don't feel bad for you in that instance, right? Number one, Angela came to work.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Listen here. I don't care if the transition was smooth or not. She said, how come I got to be the one that got to be accountable? Listen here. Porsha, you not being accountable for taking that woman's man, huh? Kelli said it first. Good way to bring Kelli into it, right? And the thing that was so funny about it is that, of course, it was a rough transition, because at the end of the day, Angela's like, we want to know the truth of what happened. I want to know the truth of what happened. The show wants to know what happened, right? And that's when Porsha, of course, want to get into her little soapbox and basically be like, you know what? Kiss my behind. Kiss my behind. And I'm just like, Porsha, I think you are showing episode by episode by episode of basically Bravo invested in you wrong. I think they kind of feel bad for their investment because they're like, we're not getting anything out of you. And I wonder, how did you feel about this scene? Did you feel vindicated about basically like Porsha is not a good anchor of the show? Porsha is not going to tell us a story?
No, I never feel vindicated about it because I want the women to come on to have good seasons, to have, show up in a way to where that they can be seen in their best light and, be successful. So I don't feel vindicated in the fact that Porsha is down right now or that she didn't show up and really engage with Angela. But I do kind of feel like sound about Porsha, like it sound about right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like not surprised with what we're seeing based off of pretty much the Porsha Family Matters show and how she operated during that, and that when it was time to actually have real discussions over the fight she had with Dennis' mom, she pretty much silenced the whole cast of saying, we're not going to talk about what happened. You know what I'm saying? And so we all sitting around at the cenote not saying nothing because Porsha don't want to be held accountable or talk about what she did wrong. So I'm just like, this is just Porsha, and I wish that I could see Porsha in a different light, but she is who she is,
How are we not gonna talk about it? Y'all always breaking plate. like that. It's just like, so we're not gonna act like the episode didn't happen. All right, word. Okay, but Angela, she came to work, and like I said, however she gotta get the transition, it is what it is. Hey, guess what? It's sunny today, just like it was sunny when you took that woman's man. I'm like, hey, listen.
And the thing is, I wanted Porsha to answer that question because I've been wanting it to be addressed on the show.
Yeah.
She's escaping the conversation.
And the funny thing about it is, you only got to address it once.
Yeah.
Once you address it, guess what? That's it.
Yeah.
You don't got to talk about it no more, but guess what? You just keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger, and sometimes even making it bigger than what it really have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Drew isn't going to keep subjecting herself to insults and attacks. Cynthia checks on Porsha and asks her what's going on, and Porsha just feels like it's a pile-on with everything that she has to deal with at home. Cynthia thought that the friendship between Drew and Porsha, was better than this, and Porsha says, it's just that it's not cool that they're filming behind her back, and it's really not even an issue she has with Angela or Drew for that matter. Dennis is obligated to her for how they would behave as co-parents. Dennis is going to get all of her wrath, and she's not going to confront Drew about it. Porsha appreciates Cynthia's energy. The other girls are great, but she loves Cynthia. And to me, I don't know, Porsha probably didn't mean it as shade to Shamea, but I'm just like, you're best friends in the house and you over here
literally
like talking about everybody's cool, but I'm glad I got you, Cynthia. And don't get me wrong, that was a great conversation they had together, and it felt like a real sister girl moment where we could, take our lashes off, let our hair down, and really discuss how we're really feeling. But I just feel like it was a slight to Shamea as well. So
listen here. Porsha has been shading passive aggressively, if you even want to say, Shamea the whole time. She basically saying it's not her voice, basically saying like, you are my friend, and like basically like, that's why I'm like, if Shamea is the best friend, what is her role to you then? Because some people have different titles or different definitions of what a best friend means. So to Porsha, that means, based on what I'm seeing, is that basically you be there for me when I call on you. Now, don't come on your own. When I call on you, you be there for me, Shamea. But when it's your birthday and things like that, or basically when you playing your record, I could just
your wedding,
I could just basically it's the traffic. I had I could come with all the excuses. I don't have to be there for you because you know what? Like, this is how this best friend agreement go. And I'm like, I think Shamea's starting to see it, especially in real time, and especially when you play it back. It's like, why am I'm over here being called a lapdog, right? And whole time you're not even like treat me right, as in the actual person that I'm in relationship with. So like it's not worth it, to be honest.
Yeah. So the ladies, they have a great time. They go by the pool, and it's really just Porsha, Britt, Kelli, and Shamea.
Yeah.
So apparently Angela was up because she was talking to Charles and she heard her name. She heard Porsha saying that she was going to F Charles. Porsha says that she didn't say anything about Charles. When Angela went down there to confront her, she was also recording so she could, have what was said and what's going on tape. And Porsha decided to walk away talking about she didn't say nothing about Charles. Kelli said that Porsha said she better stop before I F her husband.
Wait a minute.
Shamea made a comment that Charles was always out with other women. Britt brought up the baby that Charles had on her. It was recently revealed that he didn't have a child on her. I don't know how true that is, but that's what Angela said in an interview.
Yeah.
Kelli then tries to say hi to Angela the next morning, and Angela's walking out talking about she ain't trying to be fake.
Yeah.
So,
what is your thoughts on that last scene? Because Porsha, what type of threat is that? And truth be told, I take it as a real threat. What is your thoughts on the whole idea that basically, hey, don't make me F your husband, talking about Angela?
Yeah. My thoughts about it are, I don't know. I think that they were drunk, having a good time, talking mess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I also feel like with Porsha, you can never be too sure. So, I mean, I don't have much more to say than Angela should not be cool with Porsha because Porsha will literally play in her face and talk about effing her husband. So I'm just like, this is not a great thing to try to build a friendship,
Yeah, I think when it comes to Porsha, she said that, number one, basically trying to point out how unfaithful Charles is, allegedly. Basically saying, like, if I wanted to, I could. Yeah. Right? And number two, one thing that basically they was talking about as they was drinking and having a good time and things like that. Basically talk about, Angela, you got skeletons in your closet. Basically talk about, this child that was had behind your back and things of that nature while you was with Charles. And she talking about, she's standing up in the window trying to record us and things of that nature. And the thing about it is, I find it very interesting, right, that Kelli, she's like, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not on nobody's side. I'm on my side. This is what Kelli said. Porsha said that you better stop before I F your husband. I said, wow, Kelli. You was right there, and you basically was like, listen, this is what happened. It is what it is. And I find it very interesting that Porsha would say that knowing what was alleged or truth about how she got in her current marriage that is now divorcing. It's almost as if Porsha said that to kind of play in our face. Yeah. To kind of be like, oh yeah, y'all know what I did, but I never would admit it, but I'm going to basically wag the carrot in front of y'all face to make y'all be like, yeah, I did it, but I'm never going to admit to it.
And maybe that's why Portia's so mad with Drew, because she feels like Drew is going to do what she does to people, which is pretty much F your man.
Yeah, but that's kind of weird though. It's strange because Ralph and Dennis are supposed to be friends. I personally feel like Drew is not going to sleep with Dennis or haven't slept with Dennis and things of that nature. But the thing about it is, I can understand it in the sense of, hey, if Dennis is supposed to be my family, if y'all want to use family for baby daddy or baby mom, why do you get to film and why do that get to be your story outside of your story with Ralph? I feel like everybody's hiding their story. Like Drew is using Dennis or whatever it is, or using her singing career to hide her real basically life that's going on, where her man is in the basement and then she got to leave the house. She got to leave the house every other weekend and things of that nature. So everybody's doing their own Porsha their own Porsha impression of hiding their story. But you know what? It's entertaining.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
And that's all I got.
Listen here. We are also going to review the after show. So the rules is this. We're going to release this episode today. And then you got to wait 4 hours. You got to wait about 4 hours. And then I'm going to release the after show right after this episode 4 hours later in the same day. Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.